Afana guys, so we're back again and this is the next video, back again to your home screen. Now, let's say we are done with creating a design. I'm done with creating a design like this. Now, let's deal with converting or exporting in this case, because by the time you don't do your design finish, wetin you wan do now say you wan export, right? So let's select this entire thing that we are done with. Control A to select everything. If there's something else around in the drawing window, you might want to delete it, or you zoom out and select only what is in the printable page area, which is this one in the center. By the time you select and finish, either you press Control plus E or you go File. You see export for here. You press this one, export, right? So click on export. Now here, this type, you go select which format you wan use. So either you select the JPEG, PNG, PDF, Adobe Illustrator. There are lots of formats for you to select, including tagged image format, which is TIFF. TIFF dey here, right? Say na text you wan export, you can export it as a true type font or TXT that you can use on your normal notepad or even in CorelDRAW. You can even export it as RTF, which is also a text format. You understand my point? It's also possible for you to export as scalable vector graphics, which is SVG. This one go export the object as already a converted object, as in the object na converted object. Somebody cannot quite edit it, as e cannot save it as the original format, but e go save am in such a way everything there is it's na only shape 2 you fit take dey edit am. Because I'm looking for a word to explain to you. By the time you save or you export as a scalable vector graphics, na only vector graphics everything go be. Everything is going to be an object. There will be no text in it. It's just going to be an object. It's also possible for you to send this file as CMX, which is Corel Exchange. Corel Exchange. Let me look for that. Yes, CMX. It's also possible. It's also possible for you to export as bitmap. Bitmap. BMP. Bitmap. Do you understand? So for this one now, I'm going to select JPEG. This one that has JPEG bitmap, right? And then I will export it. I can export to my folder, but I have a folder that I named export. I fit also decide to say I wan just export to desktop. So let me export to desktop so that you can see. So I will export this. Na the file name be this. I will choose selected only, because na only wetin I select na I wan export. I no wan export it just in case there are other things here. I no wan export all this one. Na only this one I wan export. So the name now na wedding invitation. So I go export am. It will bring me to this dialog box here where I want to select the options, right? So I design with RGB, leave this thing as RGB. I design with RGB color palette, leave this thing as RGB. Alright. If you design with CMYK, export with CMYK, right? You can also choose to use RGB, but it's not good. If you design with RGB, export with RGB. If you design with CMYK, you might also want to if you are going to print it out, export with CMYK. But if it's not something that you are going to print well, it's going to be something that you are going to use on your phone or social media, you can still try and export it with RGB. Shey you understand, right? RGB na just red, green, blue, right? So the quality, you can change it to the highest. My own custom is already on 100 and 100 is the highest, so it actually makes no difference. I usually leave this one out. I don't want anything go blur on this guy. All these extra options here na the options wey we leave for the beginning. You know those advanced options, we don't actually mess with all those ones, because what came as a default is better, right? In terms of color proof settings, right? So we leave that as it is, and then we check the width and the height to make sure that we are still here. And then what happens is this resolution is something that I prefer you to change, right? Now if you look at the file size, we have 591 kilobytes on this side. E dey possible say you go change this one to affect this size, because the amount of pixels determine the amount of size, and the size wey dey the particular image wey you dey export is also similar to the clarity of that image. You get? So I sometimes usually change this to 800 when I'm going to print because I need optimum file size. Is it recommended that you use 800? I don't think you should be doing that, right? It's not compulsory that you have to do that. It's not compulsory. 300 is standard and 300 is good, but I can sometimes move past 300. I can use 1000 depending on the file size that I see. Now you can look at this now, you see it's just 2.17 MB now. It was 519 just now. Now it's 2.17 MB. The previous one was kilobyte. Now this is megabyte, right? So this is megabyte. Now it's very possible for us to even up this scale, up this resolution without affecting the size. We'll up the resolution, up up the resolution to increase the clarity. It will also increase the size of storage. You understand? Good. So let me leave this as 800 now and finish my export by pressing OK. So if I press OK, what will happen is that if I go to my desktop, you will now see wedding invitation here. Let's preview it, and this is what we exported. It is now a picture, and it's very possible for me to send this picture as it is, like this, and send it to a Bluetooth file or send it to anywhere. I can send it as email or whatever. I can choose to send it to my phone, and I can preview it on my phone as a Bluetooth. You get? So let me just send this to my phone, right? So let's try that. Let me send it to my phone, and I will receive it, and you see it's already sending, right? So I'm going to cancel it. Good. Now that we are done with that, the next thing are for me to explain printing to you. Good. So now we are going to be dealing with printing, right? So in printing, we will be dealing with two things. First, color, right? And then print. Separation, separation, separation versus already made, or straight printing, which is direct printing. Let me just change, make I change this already made to direct image. All right. So in terms of color, I'm going to bring our CMYK palette now, right? So let me bring. So I'll go to palette, right? So let me go to palette. Let's get to wait for it to load here. Make I wait, make it load, right? So this is our CMYK palette. Let me remove this default. This is okay. I'll leave it together. So you have CMYK palette. Now we have this. Let's lay this out, right? So in order for me to do this explanation for you, in order for me to give you this explanation, something I need to do. All right. So we have this, and you will see what this color is. Now I told you that we have four colors, which is CMYK, right? We have CMYK. Now you will see why we have four colors. Why we have four colors as the main colors in printing, right? Now let's do this now. So we have cyan, which is this C for cyan, right? You see the name here, cyan. And then we get this one here, what we call magenta. Okay, I think I'm using the wrong one. Oh. Sorry. This is our CMYK palette. Good. Look at it here. CMYK C100 M0 Y0 K0. Right? So we have cyan here. This one we have magenta. Right? And here we have yellow. Right? Now, the thing is this. I want you to take note of the fact that these four colors have to occur independently in each one, right? So in case of a cyan, you have cyan 100%, while the rest is zero. And then when it comes to magenta, cyan is zero, while magenta is 100, yellow is zero, K is zero, right? And then when it comes to yellow, yellow is 100. The first two are what? 0, 0, and then we come to K. key na black, which is 0, right? Then when we finally come to key, key is 100, and then we have 0, 0, 0 for each of them. So for cyan, cyan has 100 and the rest 0. Magenta has magenta 100 and the rest 0. I'll show you in a bit. So maybe we double click here. I want you to take note of CMYK. You see cyan 100, magenta 0, yellow 0, and key 0, right? But when it comes to say yellow, for instance, you see yellow has 100, magenta 0, CMYK 0. Now let's type black. You see it, black now is 100 while the rest is 0. What is the next one? Magenta, right? You see it now. But in order for us to have red, notice now that you have magenta and yellow 100 100 in order to have red. Magenta and yellow together 100 100 will give you red. If we talk about blue, you see you have cyan and magenta 100 100 that will give you blue. Cyan magenta mixed together will give you blue. Then if you wanted to have green, you see you have cyan and yellow together giving you green. Now, in order for you to have a darker variation of each or any one of this color, you are going to add 100 to it, right? Which is adding black to the equation. If I add black here to this equation, 100, right? We have a darker green. Do you see it? We have a darker green. We have a darker green, which is this variation of green. Look at the spot here. This spot wey you're there, so now dark green be this. So usually we don't need to add this in order to get your green, which is, look at where green is seated. Do you see it now? So that is color for you in terms of CMYK. So it is the mixture of this primary color CMYK that gives us these other colors. So we have C, M, Y, and K at this edge, right? So we have K at this edge. So K comes to sit in such a way that it is the center of all the colors combined. So where we have C, we have magenta, and we have yellow. The mixture of all these ones is what gives us our red, yellow, green, which is why direct image is what prints this advanced color setup. It needs to mix all these primary colors together for her to give you the direct color. So we have red, green, and blue. This is blue, right? So we have blue. So it is the mixture of the various parts of CMYK that gives us RGB. So RGB color mode is what we call the direct image. RGB color mode is the direct image, whereby it's going to help you mix the colors and understand, right? While the color separation na be this print separation. The machine will have to print individual colors in order to achieve any advanced color that you give to it. So if you make your design and you go to use red take dey design, you are going to be telling the computer that you are going to mix magenta and yellow. So if you are doing color separation, you are going to have 100 magenta and 100 yellow in order to get that red color. Meaning say you go get wetin we dey call two plates. You go print two plates to get that color in a color separation system, right? So in terms of color separation, after you make your design, you will print your design on what we call a film. A film is a transparent paper, right? After printing it on that film, you are going to mirror the image. Mirror the image is to invert that image. You go print am for the film. After you are finished printing on that film, you are now going to meet somebody who can expose that film to an aluminum that we call CTP. Sorry, an aluminum is that one that we call exposing, right? Is that one we call plate. Sorry. You will expose the film onto what we call a plate. The plate is aluminum. It is that plate that is taken to the machine operator. Now, the machine operator can vary in sizes. Either you are printing 201, which is envelope size, or A4, or you are printing what we call 1850, right? 1850, which is A3 size, or you are printing the next one after 1850. We have cord, and after cord you have sword. right? You have sword. Now, in order, you have envelope here, envelope or A4. Anything A4 is going to go inside 201, right? Here you have A3. Here you have A2, obviously. A2 is bigger than A3, and then you have A1. A1 is bigger than A2. A2 is bigger than A3. A3 is bigger than A4, right? When you finish your design, if you are using this color, this one is two color. If you are somebody is using both green and red and blue inside your design, congratulations, that's a full color job, because the full color makes use of CMY, and there could be a K, because this K can be variated in two. This K that you see key is variated in two, black and white, which are neutral colors, right? Neutral colors that happen freely. Neutral colors that happen freely. So black and white is always there. This space now is white, but by the time you combine all the colors together, you have black. And if you have white, you need something that is going to variate with this guy, which is where black comes in. So black and white is constant. White is space, and white will always take the color of the paper that you use in printing. But black is not that. Black is going to reflect on any white. You get it now? So that's where you have to be careful when you do your colors and determine whether you're going to be using a color separation system. Now, the reason why we use color separation system is because we want to print many copies and have, the cost become cost effective. Direct image, because of the work it does, it's more expensive than using color separation, which is that's why we don't very much of the time use color separation, right? That's how we very much of the time don't use direct image when we are printing hundreds or thousands of copy. We use separation when we are printing hundreds of thousands of copies. But when we are printing few thousands, few hundred copies, it's possible to use direct image and still be and try to be cost effective, especially when you can chest the cost. You feel doing like that, right? So this is the interesting part of printing. Now, is it possible for you to design with advanced colors, RGB, and go and do separation? Yes, it's possible, especially with the present technology of nowadays. Something like that CTP, computer to plate engine, that we have. You can meet any professional, he will tell you, if you go to the CTP and you give them the colors to deal with, the CTP can by itself the CTP will by itself pick out the colors that are there and make the colors separated all of a sudden. Shey you get? However, you must make sure that whatever color you are using, it must be effectively used. Don't use hundreds of colors when you know that you are going for color separation. It's not going to work for you. You get? You're only going to stress the computer engineer that is there for the printing. He will have to change the colors and make them magenta and the rest of them, which is not very effective, right? Right? So, with that being said, what else do I have to show you again in terms of printing? I'm going to explain to you sizes, right? I initially talked about A4, A3, A2, and A1, right? I want you to understand something. Where we have A5, where we have A5 becoming 2 in A4. Where we have A5, 2 of A5 makes an A4. Do you get it? 2 of A5 makes an A4. Where we have A4, it is 2 of A4 that makes A3. It is 2 of A4 that makes A3. Where we have A3, it is 2 of A3, 2 of A3 that makes what? A2. It is 2 of A3 that makes A2. That makes A2. This side A3, this side A3, right? Right? And then it is where we have A2, it is 2 of A2 that makes A1. And A1 is usually the paper size that you buy in the market, right? So if we were to get to A5, If we were to make a design like this in A5 and move to A1, you will see how small A1 is, A5 is in A1. You are going to have about 16 of this here. One, two, three, four, right? Right? You're going to have about 16 of this in A1. So you have 4 per line and you have 4 lines, right? Right? So let's close this gap and let's snap this edge. So you have 4 per line, 4 per line, and then 4, 4, 4 times. So we have 1, 2, 3. You get it? So this is A1 and you have this. So this now is A2. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have 8 A5 inside A2, right? 8 A5 inside A2, right? Now that you have 8 A5 inside A2, you're going to have 4 A5 inside A3. This is A3, right? This is A3. Or it can be straight, it doesn't really matter. This is A3, right? If this is A3, this is now A4. You have 2 of A4, and then you have A5, right? So let's label that A5. Do you see how my text is so small? So we have A5, right? And then we have A4, right? And then we have A3, and then we have A2. So we have A2, and then we have the ultimate A1. A1. I can't teach you how. This one is me teaching you how you can calculate your paper when it's time to print. Usually we buy A1 from the market. When we go to the paper market, the paper we are buying, whether we are buying art paper or we are buying card, is going to be in A1 size. So we now have to go for cutting. We are going to cut the paper down to the size that we need. Now, if you are using direct image to print, this is where everything ends, A4, right? So you will print in A4. This is where everything ends. I've not seen a machine yet that will just go ahead and print A5. You get, it's not like it's not possible to print A5. You can customize it to print A5. You can customize the machine to print A5, especially DI. It's very possible to customize your DI machine to print A5. But usually we prefer to print on A4 so that when you are done printing on A4, you will take it back again to the machine or puller. You will take it back to the machine, or it's called a puller machine, right? It has very sharp blades and can cut large quantities of paper. So you go take the A4 go give them, they will now split it into two and you will now have A5, right? So by the time you are done with A5, it's very possible to even move further where you have what we call A6, right? A6 is obviously 2 times A4. So we have, it's 2 times A5, right? So we have one A5, split A5 into 2 and you have A6. It's also possible to continue. 2 of A6 is A7, 2 of A7 is A8, 2 of A8 is A9. I can just keep going like that. So hope you understand this, and this helps you in calculating, and this helps you also in color. And this is printing and color for you. All right. So have a nice one, and God bless you.